Greetings and salutations, everyone. How we doing? Anybody there?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I just got resettled because I ran into the bathroom really quick before we started. But,
Trying to gather my wits, and they are quite rampantly not quite all gathered. Welcome, Nikki. How we doing?
Also getting to know my daughter's new roommate. It's really interesting.
Your daughter has a roommate?
The people that lived upstairs are ready that she's moving in with upstairs. Mm-hmm. So we all are in the same house. And if she needs me, I am right downstairs. But she has roommates already built in. So they're both really nice. And I just didn't really get to know one of them too well, and now I'm getting to know them, so.
Sounds absolutely positively communal. I've always wanted to live in a commune. I've always wanted to have close, reliable associates near at hand. Game nights and role-playing and video games. I never quite got that. Even when I did have actual roommates and potential tenants staying with me.
I don't know, that's kind of what this house has become. Like, we're all of us are crafters at the bottom floor. Me and both of my partners are both into crafting. And then all the people upstairs are, so.
I see. Well, all the same, we are coming up on 43 after the hour, so we are a little more than fashionably, well, not quite technically fashionably, it's 15 to 30 minutes, but we are a little bit past hard start. So while we extend all grace and due understanding of our associates and their real lives, because I haven't heard that anyone would not be here, so we are expecting them to arrive post-haste, if not somewhere thereabouts. Any questions, suggestions, hypotheses, or corners beneath the round off as we prepare to dive into the malaise, malarkey, the misanthropic times of the Gary Pope?
No, I'm pretty good at remember where we were.
Welcome back, John. How we doing?
I can hear. Finally. I'm here.
Welcome. Leonardo, how we doing? You know, that's becoming the standard response to every time I greet someone today.
I'm sorry.
Say la vie. Well.
Wait, is no one responding?
Neither Nikki nor Leonetti responded. Gigi.
Hello.
Wait.
I'm here.
How we doing, gentlemen?
Good.
Tired.
For some reason, I'm not tired. I've been skipping around.
No, one of the cooks caught COVID, and the other one got murdered a couple of days ago. So I'm just staffed like a motherfucker.
I see. Well, luckily you are a whirling dervish of skill, talent, and the ability to withstand a shitstorm of everything. So, being there aren't any questions, and we have, I guess, the everyone that's going to be here today, we're going to dive right in.
Is he high? Is Lasky still high?
Lasky's always high. What are you talking about?
Okay, but higher.
It's a good question. um, high, inebriated, not quite himself, is the standard operating procedure for Lasky. There is a differentiating which state of disaffected inebriation, mental, emotional, mildly chemical, is up for a debate of all threats. It could literally be any and all of those things all at once. It could be none of those things. It's simply just an affectation. But the truth of the matter is, as he is, as everything that he was and could be, is about experiencing the wide width and breadth of the multiverse all at one time. He is never accurately non-inebriated. He is never in his sanest, most sober mind. But with that fact being known, that fact being out there, welcome. We're going to err on the side of brevity. And I'm going to begin with simply thank you all for being here. I know that we all have a lot of things going on in our lives, a lot of things going on around our lives and in our association with and around others. So your presences is greatly appreciated. And without beating the horse overly much, without much more ado, this is official Steel Hearts Rusted Steel Season 4 Wizened Radiance Shrinking. When we last left our coterie of associates, our associated coterie, Gigi and Leonetti were being swallowed by the pummeling, scratching, biting, frenzied members of the church who had had their faith and the physical embodiment of all that they held dear desecrated, destroyed, ruined. And they responded as only the insanely fervent might, with the wild, reckless abandon of Maenads and other servants of Dionysus, Bacchus, and attempted to relive the shredding of a well-loved poet with their bare hands. Luckily for Gigi and Leonetti, they are in fact dead, so they can be missing bits and pieces of themselves, their clothing, and anything else, and continue on in their simulacrum of life. Marcus, arriving at the car, his vitae streaming behind him like smoke in the wind, realizes that he is in fact solely alone in Walkerton, Indiana, as the sound of a crowd of drunk and fervently mad worshipers have their way with undead flesh. And unlike most living things, the taste of unliving matter, the taste of the few droplets of vitae floating through that dead skin, the taste does not deter them. There's no euphoria found in suckling the few droplets of vitae in the flesh that they are rending and splattering all over themselves and about themselves. While John would like to have been one of those who escaped and was nearly there. He nearly snatched victory from the jaws of defeat and was 2 steps from freedom. Unfortunately, the crowd of worshipers were 3 steps ahead of him. And much like Gigi and Leonetti, he is experiencing the first time what it might be like to be the unliving embodiment of pulled pork being prepared. While across the small urban sprawl that is Walkerton, Nikki wrestles with the truths that have fallen into their laps, the facts of all that they are in the midst of, and takes comfort and solace in being alone in the dark. So, Gigi, John, Leonetti, will you begin with a stat check after reducing your health levels by 2?
Okay. Just health levels by 2. Okay.
I'm sorry, Leonetti, I missed that. What was that? What was that question?
I just reduced him by 2.
And now put it in the player form.
Oh yeah.
Or
Open play or which one?
player form.
Okay. Okay, just basic. Okay, I am. The characters. Okay, there. Thank you.
I believe I'm still kicking. Barely.
What would we use? Aggravated or superficial?
You'd mark it as superficial. It'd only be aggravated if your health tracker was filled with superficial.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, mine is now filled with superficial. Any more damage? 2 more damage and I'll be in torpor.
Does that mean death?
No,
Yes.
that means torpor.
Okay.
I've been there before.
You should probably buy property. I hear property is really good to have. Real estate is good.
I want to heal now. Like, is it weird to just randomly heal?
No. You may, of course, spend a rouse roll, any action you have available, so you can literally rouse your way up from the state of near death that you are.
Yeah, because I have 2 superficial damage and 4 aggravative damage.
Aggravated damage. So your total health is 6. And your health tracker is now filled with damage. 4 of those are aggravated.
Yes.
Excellent. So you've been dead before. That's how you became a kindred. Being so close to that threshold in the moment, in this frenzied, faithful fracas, is only the second most disconcerting brush with death that you have had. It's a little more ignoble considering that this brush with death is coming at the hands of mortals. Not ghouled animals, not a million hungry mouths, but the hands, literally the hands and teeth of mortals.
Okay. I posted my status.
Yeah.
Or did we ask what we're doing, or
Yes.
Gigi didn't want to hurt these people because she understands why they're upset, but she can't continue to let them tear her apart. So she is going to hit everybody that is touching her with Touch of Oblivion. And hopefully that'll be like, get them to let her go.
Well, we have one declared intention. Next.
I can't fight like. Oh, well, I mean, if I had a melee weapon, but
Well, you know what works as a melee weapon? If you rip someone's
What?
arm off. Then you'll have a club.
I don't think I have the strength for that.
Only one way to find out.
Okay, DC,
Roll as high as you can.
as high as I can.
John, I don't think that I will help.
You don't think you'll help whom?
He
Yourself?
said, John Lastby. I thought he said help. Never mind. He said HP. Never mind. I'm sorry.
No, alright. And what is Leonetti doing as he's being torn apart, piece by piece, shred by shred, bite by bite?
Well, I guess that he's going to, since he fumbled with his gun, he's going to now try to break free if he can.
Marcus is on the outside of the building looking in.
There's not much for you to see except for a crowd of people in a huge fracas. So yeah.
But John was working towards the door. How did he get close enough that I could see him go down?
He was working toward the door. He is now the unliving embodiment of grapes being made into wine.
Then I'm going to shoot the people in the doorway.
How many times are we gonna get fucking
Myrtleized?
different of people? Like first the rats, now the fucking people.
I guess as long as we keep on falling into these situations where we constantly are surrounded in an enclosed space
'Cause
by
that's where-
numerous entities, I think that we should really just be stopping doing that and always have like an out. Just like always stand on the outside of the group,
Be at
not
the periphery.
in the center of it, surrounded.
And
Yeah, because that worked so good for us while we were in Arcus.
No,
and while
we're just bad luck.
Gigi is preparing her role for Touch of Oblivion, and while Leonetti is attempting to break free, which is going to be a strength plus brawl. And John, what was it you were attempting to do again?
Okay.
I know one of the dice pools is Oblivion. What's the other one?
I think
It's strength plus brawl first. Each success is going to do 2 ag to whoever it hits. Hence the reason why you're going to roll.
I know what he's gonna.
And what is John doing?
He's going to. So all these people are touching him, right?
Yeah.
Instead of fighting them off, Lasky's going to activate a discipline called Spirit's Touch.
That sounds bad.
V1 for the rouse. Success. I am still at 0 hunger. Or 1 hunger, sorry. And then it's int plus aspects, which is 3 plus 4. That's 7, right?
Yes.
For everybody but you.
Sometimes nobody. 7.
And yes, burst touch is aroused plus your intelligence plus auspics. And Marcus, you're firing from the hip, which would be so. Kind of go ahead and roll a dexterity and firearm. Anything less than 3, you will potentially hit one of your associates. By the way.
Wait. Who's doing? Is Marcus doing this?
Marcus is firing into the crowd to drop a few of the bodies who are pummeling you all.
No, you said you were going to be doing that. No, I'm joking.
Nice job, by the way.
Yeah, Marcus, he can shoot a gun, but if you punch him, he'll fold like a wet sack. So, just, keep that shit in mind.
See, Lasky can't fucking throw a punch, but he can sure as hell take one. Philip can't do either.
All right, so let's see what we have in regards to what fate has willed the outcome. And the humans. All right, so
No,
it is unfortunate. Fate, like God, laughs the moment that man, and by extension kindred, say they have a plan. As the frenzied crowd, so caught up in the divestment of these defilers and everything that they could be or might one day hope to become, the gunshots ring out. Marcus's shells flying through the crowd, hitting one person across the side of the face, the next across the torso, another somewhere between. It is a flurry of bullets, hot lead flying with all due aim to drop individuals, to callously murder individuals. There's always an argument for us Americans that says guns are part of our heritage. Guns, we have the Second Amendment for a reason, and that guns can be used defensively. No, that is an impossibility. Guns are tools, weapons, designed by their very dint to end things. And Marcus proving that he understands that implicitly. He ends things because they are no longer human. Once that metal connects with their frame, they stop being human. They stop being alive. They become moldering corpses who have not realized they are already dead. Adding injurious insult to the mass casualties being inflicted. Not only has their faith been desecrated, but so too are their future lives. John, with some stroke of asinine, indescribably off the cuff, off the wall, last ditch effort, manages to make contact with those who are contacting him with their very hate. And he feels what they feel. Unlike the pale, wan, thin emotions that Kindred actually feels, he is bombarded by the hot fury that courses through them. He is also touched by what they are been touched by for the second time. For the second time, he has allowed it, that presence that watches over Walkerton's populace. He's been touched by that presence which lives in the very soil around the place. He has been touched by that spirit that inhabits nearly every facet of the worshipful Walker to. And for the second time this evening, for the fourth time his entire life, for the third time since he's died a mortal death, he feels as if the face of God is shining down upon him, as if everything will work out, as if all of the kaleidoscopic possibilities of the future are roads leading to Rome, and that Rome, at the center of all those many possibilities, is that his existence will work out. Everything will be fine if he but trusts and believes. The same can't be said for Leonetti, who understands what the sheer numerical advantage of these persons have, and he tries to get free of them, working with all that he has available to him. He pushes and shoves and is swallowed. Who would have thought that in this day and age, so many people would have taken up grappling, jiu-jitsu, and Krav Maga and judo to bolster themselves and live healthy, happy lives. Yet, that is what he is met by. His push being turned into a pull, his kick being trapped, his arms and limbs being held firm and tight, as these individuals in their fervor are living their best lives, as their lives are being taken from them by the hot lead fired by Marcus. And just as he gives up the idea that there may be hope for anything except for a slow and painful death under only these mountainous assaults against his form, black ichor pours from the face, not just the eyes or nostrils or ears, but from the pores of the face of the individual who has locked him in a full-on arm bar, and he freezes, his strength immediately failing, as through the pores of his face the stuff of death oozes and creeps down across his cheeks, down from his chin, across his chest, and you realize that it is pouring out of him. Every pore, every orifice, rivulets of the stuff of death. And while he's not afraid of blood, mice, predators, the dark, there is something about watching that happen that causes Leonetti to snatch his arm back as if there are spiders crawling all over him. And he realizes that the person was touched by Gigi, and her eyes have gone to that place that nothing returns from. There's a wispy darkness that just goes on forever sitting in her eyes. And this individual is but one of three that she's managed to make contact with. She's created a small void of space around herself, as with each touch, they began dying. Combined with the bodies falling from Marcus's shots, this is gone from a joyful massacre and worship to simply a massacre. There's no way that if these bodies are found, anything but the foulest of play could be considered.
Round of Nightmare. Marcus is looking for targets of opportunity to actually aim at.
Besides the manifestation of Shiva that Gigi has become, as she is slowly sauntering through the middle of the crowd, the bodies you've dropped and the bodies that she's dropping, combined with the ecstatic, orgiastic look of pure bliss washing over John, there ain't nothing but opportunity. Or as many of the folks of a certain age understand, there ain't nothing but air and opportunity. And you gotta choose which one
So
you gonna keep.
a target-rich opportunity then.
Yes.
So he's going to pick individual targets. So actually aiming, composure versus dexterity. And he's going to be trying to clear a path for John Leonetti and Gigi to get outside. So he picks the biggest, scariest, ugliest guy next to one of his friends and shoots him.
Excellent. And so you're still firing. And as Mark is still firing
I'm-
the crowd. And as the crowd becomes sparser and sparser. Nikki, knowing that conversation that you just enjoyed. Are you back yet, by the way? Probably should ask that.
Yeah, I'm back.
That conversation you just enjoyed, knowing that there are people here in Walkerton who have every intrigue at heart, who have every intention of making sure that the sect war is lived out in every corner of the world, including this misbegotten, misconceptualized corner. This one horse town that is in fact Walkerton, even though it's filled with hundreds of thousands of horses via the horsepower of the motorcycles, late 21st century muscle cars, and the diesel vehicles that abound. And as you are writing, finding a balance of that conversation that you just had, the sound of gunfire, and not just a shot or two, but it sounds as if someone thought that the 4th of July should be reenacted by emptying a clip. Not a fast thing, but there is a rhythm to it, because there's 3, then 1, then 2, then 3. It is as if someone has every intention via Morse code to let everyone know exactly where they are.
She rolls her eyes with that too. Considering that's how they met, so. Shit. What have you got yourself into? And because
I just
she
like to
knows,
take moments.
she hears the
Go ahead.
gunshot, and she knows what's coming after that, which more likely would be police sirens. She's not gonna move. She's already got enough heat on her, which is why she changed the face in the first place.
There's always...
I would just
Go on, you're saying?
like to point out that I am very gladdened that Leonetti is going to get blamed for all the gunfire that Marcus is laying down.
It is apropos, and it is a certain MO, and it wouldn't be completely unfair of him to take great offense that Marcus is suddenly using a firearm. That is his thing. Marcus does computers. You are now using Leonetti's thing. But that's a conversation for later, perhaps. Maybe, if you all survive the next few moments. Because survival is everyone's wish, everyone's want. It is the fundamental fire that keeps all of the pots boiling, that keeps the locomotion possible, that keeps the combustion of life and its facsimiles moving forward. And inaction is an action. And while it seems as if John is being inactive, as if he is experiencing the great, wonderful beyond, he, in this moment, knows exactly where it is, that is the actual factual source for all of this. He knows the grove to which you all need to arrive to stop whatever this is, if you would like this to stop. Because connected as he is to the source, plugged in, if you will, he realizes that it's not just these worshipful. He realizes that it is just not this church. That it is the width and breadth of Walkerton. Roughly 85% of the population in this moment are heading in this direction. Roughly 85% of the population has been roused into a sleepy wakefulness in service to that which lies beyond. He understands that you all have inadvertently fired the first few shots of a war. And even though he knows that everything will work out, he has plugged into that peaceful understanding that all things, there's a portion of him, one of many, that is still very much dialed into who and what he was before, where and when he is from. And while Gary is not Chicago, and while Gary is not Detroit, there is a similarity of thought. Survival at any and all costs. And the truth of the matter is that while everything will work out, they may not be here to see that happen. So as another body falls in front of him, and Gigi having become the avatar of Shiva, the very face of death itself, Leonetti seeing for the first time that he is not the only wielder of death. He is not the only avatar of destruction in this coterie of individuals. What is it that we are all doing?
Is Leonetti not? Leonetti hasn't been able to get away. I'm guessing because he only did one.
Oh no, he had not gotten away. He was being swallowed further into the mass. But Gigi and Marcus, having dropped so many so quickly, are in fact creating a hole for you all to take a path of egress, if you like, out the door.
Leonetti's gonna take that. When he sees that hole opening, the hole in the body's opening, he goes immediately for it, not wanting to waste this opportunity. As he hears the firearms go off, he says, I don't really care. I'm gonna die either way. If it's a trap, I'm gonna die either way. So let's just get out of here.
Out is out.
Gigi, her faculties, for the most part, even though she's given herself over to the oblivion at the moment, tells Leonetti to take John with him. And she is going to be right behind, so she moves herself towards the door as well, looking back briefly and says to whoever might be listening, I do humbly apologize. I just came to drop off that envelope. If you could still make sure to get that, I'd appreciate it. We'll be going now. And she steps out the door.
As soon as Leonetti clears the door, Marcus is going to toss him the firearm. Because while he has the advantage of being outside of the building and shooting into a doorway, he is not a skilled tactician or marksman. So Leonetti gets the gun. Marcus is going to head for the car and start that motherfucker. And I don't know how much of advantage my celerity is going to give me, but I have rapid reflex.
It is a significant advantage being able to all but blur between moments, to be a thought and action ahead of most others. The problem of Myriad. But as the gun goes flying towards Leonetti, and as Gigi bids a fond adieu to their host, there is a moment in every medium where the protagonists realize that it's quiet. Too quiet. Where the night seems to swallow all sound. Where even the animals that make do in the darkest of hours have gone quiet and still because they realize that predators are near at hand. Where that subtle, quiet, ever-present hum that you all experienced as you all were lost on several occasions throughout Walker Two is no longer present. That soft, gentle rustling of the corn is gone. The night sounds that had once filled the full vista of your awareness and senses is gone. Instead, you can hear cars synchronously starting, hundreds of them in the night. You can hear the synchronized footfall of scores of individuals.
I think we need to go and now. This ain't good. Children of the corn are fucking all grown up and they're coming for our ass.
So it's a church that we need to go to, like that big one that we saw.
Did you get enough of churches tonight? We need to go back to the bar.
No, the church. I think to stop all this, we need to go to the big church that we saw. You remember? We saw this giant church.
You plum got us in this damn mess in the first place. Why are we still listening to you?
Because I can get us out of it.
Oh, Mr. Drink out of the damn... And then she turns around and backhands the shit out of Marcus's back of his head. And you! How dare you go to somebody's house and ruin their shit like they ain't gonna get mad?
What
are you thinking?
I don't have to go into the big church thing. We have to... there's a grove thingy.
You find a magical cup that's taking people's minds, you kill the cup. That's what I was thinking. Tremere, lesson 101 is if other people have magical shit, you either steal it or burn it. And the magical cup had to die. And
I remember that next time we are anywhere near your computers.
So, everybody get in the car. We have 3 options. Run away, go to the big church that Lasky's talking about, or try to find the numb shit we were sent to find, the Mad Bomber. I still have that locked into the GPS. We can go there, we can go to the church, or we can get the hell out. Any votes? Opinions?
We're close to sunrise. We're trying to get out of here. Yeah, so we gotta go get Nikki. Did you forget that?
It was part of the plan A and B. Plan A is go to the big church. Plan B is get the Mad Bomber. Nikki is a part of both of those plans. And while they're talking, and Marcus is rubbing the back of his head, because ow. he throws what's left of the cup out into the parking lot and starts the car. Right now, I think we just need to be moving.
I vote Big Church. Like a grove thingy behind it. Oh, fuck.
Church. Gigi,
let's
Leo.
We get to the bug. Let's go.
Where?
Big Church is closer.
Let's
So,
see the church. Let's get this over with.
Yes!
oh sweet Jesus. Was that nobody laughing? Because
No, that was Nikki.
okay. So we are going to head to the hotel and hunt outside of the big hotel.
Is this still that same night? What the fuck?
Oh yeah, we have not had a chance to sleep. We have not had. No, we are still fucked. So, yeah, we head to the hotel to fly by for a Nikki. And don't actually get out, but pull the car up under the windows of our hotel room, and I honk.
She'll look out the window. Yeah, I mean, if she can see them, she's going to assume that they're honking for her, and she will go down to the car.
Nikki, I may have done a thing. We need to go.
What do you mean by thing?
Say, what do you mean by a thing? While at the church, the sound of marching feet, the sound of the drums of frenzy was wane and far off in the distance, like thunderclouds over the mountains. The sound now, however, takes precedence over every other sound. The fact that you left through the hotel and didn't see anyone, no one. While it's a spooky hotel, there's still the sound of voices from the rooms. There's still the sound of something living or approximating the act of living. As you exit it, there is no such sound. But once you get to the car and begin conversing, and as you all see Nikki, the new Nikki, appear, gone is the buxom blonde, and instead is a vivacious brunette. But the sound of marching feet, the sound of cars driving in the distance, seeming to close down paths of egress, closing off options, grows louder and louder.
Nikki's in the car. We're going.
So we heard all this, right?
Yes.
By the commotion, I can believe. By the commotion that I hear, I believe that's what it seems that you are talking about.
Marcus woke the hive mind. Now the hive mind wants us dead.
Marcus leans forward to make sure he doesn't get hit in the back of the head again.
So I'm assuming that you found the cult.
We found a cult. They had a magic cup. John drank from it. And when they tried to give it to me, I may or may not have melted it and thrown it in a parking lot and possibly backed over it with the car.
So you pissed him off.
Meanwhile, getting us, me, Leonetti, beat up.
Well, it should be fair to warn you that there is a cult that worships the thing that's in the corn. I'm sure you are aware of the corn by now. Yeah.
We're aware there's corn.
Are you aware
I
that
have seen the movie.
Are you aware that there is actual demon in the car?
What?
There's a demon, an ancient demon in the car, and this cult worships it.
May have upset the demon.
What?
It don't
Uh,
matter. Let's go. Let's go.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're rolling while
Yeah.
this conversation is going on. We're headed to the big church.
and be warned, do not give yourself over to the darkness. It can only take you if you let it in. You let it in yourself freely. That's what I was told.
Marcus looks in the rearview mirror, and instead of checking the road, he's checking John.
Yes, and you said he drank from the cup.
He drank from the cup, and then I killed the cup. I was hoping learned with Cone that magic has to have connections, and if you break a connection, sometimes you can break the magic. I was hoping to break the magic.
Did you break the magic, or did you make things worse?
Well, the lump in the back of my head and all of the engine sounds we are hearing right now,
You did not.
I may have made it worse.
So what's the plan now?
John?
Grove in church. Grove in the big church.
Oh no, go to a bigger place of worship. Okay, pause. Yeah, I suppose we shall see this through to the end now.
There is the very real fact that one of the more unsubtle and disquieting aspects of travel in Walkerton seems to have dissipated. Normally, at least as you've experienced, when travailing and traveling over the streets in Walkerton, they move or your attention is lost as if you are being hypnotized and entering into a fugue state, losing your place without causing any damage to your car, but still putting you elsewhere. The travel from the church to the hotel is one of simple straight lines. And as you all pull away from the hotel, further away from the closing circle of forces, people of all stripe and variety being pulled and called towards a particular area of the city, heading towards the larger church, you realize that twice now, unlike all of the previous instances, you are able to maneuver where you are going without anything or anyone obstructing your path. The streets don't blur and move from one lane to the next. You are not suddenly further east, west, or north of where you're attempting to head. It's almost as if you all have a golden path, a yellow brick road leading you towards the Emerald City.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road.
But this is not saying good.
Marcus, would you be so kind as to roll your intelligence first, right?
Hey, that won't be a shitty dice pull for him. I think, unless he's been lying to us this entire time, and he's not actually a music whiz. No, you know the word. Oh yeah, intelligent.
As Marcus is navigating and doing his driving shit, He's going to ask Leonetti whether he has any more firearms besides the one that was recently given to him. And then he's going to roll his dice.
I don't. He says, unfortunately, I haven't been able to stock up. I might have one more gun, but that's it.
Okay, well, you and I are the only two really armed people other than the Queen of Sheba. See if you can get together. If not, keep line.
Nikki doesn't say anything, but she is armed.
Being the fastidious individual that Marcus is, the mileage of his cars is something that he memorizes without any actual conscious act on his part. He does so without really thinking about it, because it's always between, when's the next oil change and tune-up that he needs to do to keep everything running as it should. It's become second nature for him to do so. Absolutely looking at the mileage on his car, he realizes that according to the mileage, he is 3,200 miles further into whatever's happened than he should be. Seems as if Marcus is experiencing some technical difficulties. He's been pulled away by the ghost of Discord. While that is sorting itself out, you all are moving through walkers. Cars moving counter to your movements, heading towards the church that you all just left. Is there any other information you all would like to share about this?
There we go.
Nikki will share everything that she knows.
So, he looks to Nikki, and girl, after you left, homeboy was flirting pretty hard, but he all of a sudden got cold feet, said something about having to prove myself. So he gave me this envelope and sent me to that church, and I just so happened to show up, and John was drinking out of the cup.
Not my fault.
Some sort of donation. And I tried to do that, and then I got jumped. Said Marcus.
Oh, Gigi, you just popped up into the storm, huh?
Hey, folks. I don't mean to alarm anyone, but there's about 3,000 miles I can't explain in my odometer right now.
No, that is just what happens in this era. Me and Gigi experienced something similar earlier.
Yeah, it was weird because the cornfields would get closer to the road, and you will go down the street you don't remember going down, and then you turn around, and it swears like you're going in circles, and all of a sudden, then you'll come up on the road, and you're like, I wasn't over here. Where the fuck was this at? And it was really creepy.
Speaking of really creepy, the church that opens itself up to your view is a testament to how dark blind faith could actually be. The church towers over nearly every structure within its immediate vicinity. It stands like some dark tower beckoning you to the end of all things. The windows, the stained glass, handcrafted bits apart as you all close and the lights of the car flash across the church depict scenes of martyrdom. Not anything as easily recognizable as the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. No, these are the martyrdom of Paul, James, John. These are the stoning attempt versus Mary Magdalene. These are the worst moments from nearly every version of the Bible that you all have had imprinted upon your collective common knowledge. There are a few other scenes through the other windows, but the one thing that they all have in common: the painful, gruesome, graphic death of some believed saint or saintly individual.
So it's just a kaleidoscope of martyrdom?
Yep.
Neat. The Camaro comes to a semi-screeching halt. On the, I'll call it the middle of the parking lot. He's going to lean over the back seat because John and Gigi are in the back. Lean over to them and go, "Okay, John, what is the plan?"
Find out whatever is in the grove and then destroy it?
I believe I told you it's a demon. An ancient demon.
You guys kill it. Or
Yeah.
we can maybe befriend it? Probably not. So you guys kill it? Because I can't fight all that well. Unless
Sure.
it's
So
Just let me-
Your plan is to sit back while we fight an ancient demon. Are you mad? It's a rhetorical question, darling. Don't answer.
I was going to say, well, I have one pistol. Whatever John managed to hide in the Camaro is what he's got. John has got cowering under the seats covered. And Gigi has that black tar of death going for her.
There's still in a couple of blades on me.
I've got pepper spray.
Well, we need to get inside the church before all of the engines that we hear in the background get here.
And what are we going to do once we get inside of the church?
Plan B.
Which is...
We'll find out when Plan A completely fails.
I'll break out my ancient demon killing thing in my purse. That's what'll happen. I'm being sarcastic.
Marcus unasses from the Camaro. He double checks. He's got 2 clips left on his pistol. That's it. I mean, 2 clips, 12 rounds each, 24 bullets. That's his whole thing right now. After that, he's going to have to hope that this thing is an inanimate object that he can grab, hold, hug, and burn.
Does anybody have a bottle of water?
What's that?
Does anybody have a bottle of water?
Unfortunately, I don't keep it. That's okay.
There's none in the Camaro.
Oh, it was
But
a long
we're about
shot.
to go into a church, so there should be a secrecy and the blessed water as we enter.
I'm sure they're going to keep less water in a place where they're housing a giant ancient demon. But okay.
Guys,
Well, maybe it's not blessed in the traditional sense, but it's still fucking water.
I've got cold brew.
Oh God, John, that's not happening.
It's liquid,
Please don't talk anymore.
and technically it's just dirty water. I just
Marcus tries to shepherd everyone towards the church, so we get out of open space.
Oh no,
We find that the first nearest door to where he parked the car, that's where he's going. Gun at the ready, and hopefully people are following him. Hopefully people he wants are following him.
so
I mean, there's nowhere else to go but in, so let's go.
Grove Church. Yeah.
Nikki murdered something in German under her breath. Which would be translated to "Here we go again."
There are moments that irrevocably change where one's path might lead. Those moments are usually only seen in hindsight. Typically, those moments slip past notice without any fanfare. Nothing that stands out as abnormal about them. Usually. Entering into the church is not one of those moments. The air, while filled with the ominous sound of forces gathering in the distance, filled with the overwhelming, omnipresent sense that you are being watched and corralled, it's still a really nice Midwestern night. It's the sort of night where families would hang out on the deck, maybe fire up the fire pit, have a few beers, laughs, and would look back on those moments as foundational to experiencing and enjoying life. It is still a very temperate Midwestern night. It is not warm enough where the kindred themselves are 100% at peace and ease, but not cold enough where they are discomfited by the wind and environment. It's a night that would make perfect for hunting if one was ravenous or if one's beast was on the surface. It's dark enough that the shadows are the normal. Yet, upon entering the church, that idea of possibly being comfortable, the idea that things could be peaceful, are gone. Most churches, even in their emptiness, hold a stillness and a sense of sanctuary, a sense of all of the many moments of fellowship shared within them, investing them with a sense peace. Even those unaffected by the religious or the spiritual. It's a feeling. It is one of the many room sounds that we take for granted. We don't notice it with our conscious mind, but it's always there. The spirit of fellowship, it creates a semblance of peace. It creates a semblance of holiness, a place where one can go and find a moment to oneself, to work through the problems in one's life and find a way forward. This church has no such thing. This church has no such feeling. This church has the feeling of walking into cold storage for a charnel house. This church feels as if you are the lambs following the Judas goat to the slaughter. This church feels the moment you cross the threshold as if you are the herd of cattle led through the killing pens towards your end. And there's no doubt in anyone's mind that there will be life before this, or its facsimile, and if you survive, there will be life after.
Is it too late to say that I don't like this?
Neither do I, but I think we're in the right place, or where we should be.
Pews
And
smell,
hey, I don't think anybody dies.
the pews smell like Murphy oil, applied lovingly, often. The floor is well waxed. The graphic slaughter of saints in every window, lit from within by some infernal light. It's not daytime outside. There's not enough moonlight to cover the building and hit every window, yet each window seems as if it is backlit by some bright, all-consuming light. The sound of your footfalls, even as quiet as Gigi normally is, echoes off the vast emptiness. And while outside was comfortable, there is a chill that crawls along the skin. It feels like a million little ice spiders are attempting to make themselves at home, slowly crawling along each inch of your skin.
Okay, is it too late to say that I don't like this?
I think you already. Wait, do we establish this?
I was just reiterating.
It's never too late, but it is always nonsense. We're here.
Would everyone please roll wits plus awareness DC 3?
Got it, huh? Lit plus awareness. I don't. Ooh, that's gonna be hard.
It's gonna take me a couple seconds. Hold on.
Yeah. But my ability is not on this sheet.
Hey. I see the. I see. Yes.
All the missiles. Ah!
I think I'm down to 1. Oh no, I'm down. I'm also down to 2. Ooh, wait, but I can heal once, right?
Of course, you may rouse once per round.
Yee!
I guess I think I will browse.
Bearish. Raise top.
Your hunger increase. Your beast.
Wait, is this considered a new round? Because I roused before, but is this considered a new round?
Your beast. It is odd being simpatico with one of the visionaries. But Nikki, your inner dragon is feeling much the same as John. All of this foreboding, all of this sets your mental teeth on edge. It causes the beast to crawl forward and demand its pound of flesh. If you are going to end your being, your immortality, at least do so with a full stomach.
You said what's the word? That's right.
Right.
Okay.
The sound of worship, we're going to assume that Leonetti and moving along with the crowd. The sound of worship is what draws you forward through the church. The sound of worship, which should be coming from the church, which is a dull roar, a very quiet rumbling, is what draws you forward. If there's anything that you've all learned over the course of this evening, is that where there's worship, there is potentiality for death. And that's where the action is. Moving through the church, you can see that it has been lovingly cared for, as if some carefully conscious individual seeks to ensure its posterity, its prosperity for all ages, as if it is being sought after to remain everlasting, as if it is a testament to all that Walkerton is. There has been blood, sweat, and tears poured into maintaining the interior of this church. And as you pass through the sacristy and follow the slight slope and slant of the ramp leading down into what should be a basement, you find that the stonework around you is dark and volcanic. The stonework is actual stonework, not bricks, not the standard red or dark brown or even gray stone bricks of the modern era, and the modern era being anything from the 1800s to now. No, this is stonework, literal huge formations of stone carved down into their approximate shape. They are varying widths and heights stacked on top of each other, each one darker than the last, a model sort of thing. And for those of you curious, those of you drawn to the strangeness of it all, touching the stone is an interesting feel. It feels slick and wet, but there's no moisture on your skin, nor any moisture on the brick. It feels like something sweating inside your mind every time you touch the stone. It feels cool, yet there's a warmth there. Your skin to skin contact tells you that the brick, the stonework, has heat and a warmth, yet your mind tells you that it is cool and slick. And at the periphery of your vision, in the corner of your eye, feels as if the brick, the stonework around you, as you head further into the dimly, flickeringly lit darkness, breathes, as if you could count the breaths as they match your steps with each inch forward into this darkness. It's what the periphery of your vision says the stones are doing. There's no sound, but you can feel the space breathing. And you can hear the chant of worship. Voices raised together towards one end. What?
So, as far as from what we can gather, the walls are breathing.
Yeah.
That's not weird.
I've heard stories of things like this.
I think we're in a
Marcus.
Stephen King novel.
Marcus obviously has his pistol in his hand. We can hear chanting somewhere nearby. The walls are breathing, but there's no actual person, entity, whatever in this room with us.
No.
I want to activate Sense the Unseen.
Yay. That is always a good thing.
That tone. I'm so scared.
Really? You waited till now, fucker?
I forgot about it.
Would you be so kind as to roll your wits plus?
What's plus aspects? That is a 6. High as I can.
Of course.
Marcus has the passive of unswayable mind and resilience, so he is what he is.
They always said that a mind was a terrible thing to waste. They always used the idea of this is your brain on drugs. Somewhere along the way, that fell out of the common parlance. Somewhere along the way, the idea that the mind and the self was infinite, that everything had a subjective reason for being the way that it was, that even the bad guys had to have a reason for being the bad guys. There's no real evil. Everything was subjective, and it's based on your point in the world, your perception and point of view, where that line was. There was a permissiveness that grew instead of conscience. But as John opens himself to the unseen, all-seeing, everlasting nothingness of all varieties of this universe, all versions, as he pierces the shroud around them. He braces himself for the eventuality of seeing ghosts and specters and spirits and all those things that exist. The nothingness therein is far, far worse. Because in the nothingness, the lack of spectral visitors and denizens of the other side of the shroud, the other side of the veil, he has the opportunity to take in the stonework around them. And would you be so kind as to roll your resolve plus composure? Your difficulty is DC 5.
Come on, crit. And all successes.
Please roll 1/3 your humanity and your unspent willpower. Staring at the stonework around you, each of those stones is a life given to the harvest god. Each of those stonework around you is a soul sacrificed, either by fang or blade, towards that which exists beyond, that which exists below, that which exists in the very corn which permeates every facet of Walkerton society. Each stone is a life. Each stone is a soul trapped in service. Each stone screams and cries towards your attention. Each stone calls out to you. Each stone warns you that only death awaits, that there is no immortality. And everything that you are tells you, fuck this and run. Everything you are says that while everything will work out, you will not be here to see things work out. And working out doesn't mean that it's going to work out for you. That it will work out, but you will not. And you manage to keep from fleeing. You manage to keep the beast from giving power to your feet and causing you to exit back up the way you came and out to the car. However, it does require all of your strength of will. It does require all that you are to not abandon the souls of your coterie members that you've brought into this. Now, you've all seen John go near catatonic and fugue like when he's staring into the many potential and possible futures and listening to the voice of fate and kismet and all of those other words to describe the ineffable something that ties all things together. This is something different. Already dead, there's no way for him to get paler, or at least normally that is the case. But as the vitae tinged sweat explodes from his brow and his fingers tremble and his jaw goes slack, you know what it's like when the beast has told you, I am the captain now, and is attempting to force, to pilot you like the puppet you are to its will and whim. And in this particular case, its will and whim is to escape at all costs. Rush strike. When it strikes, normally is, well, the undefeated champion. But watching John go pale, watching all facsimile of life evade his being. What is it that everyone's doing?
Watching him.
See John go in his semi-catatonic.
Wait, I did that wrong. Sorry, continue.
Okay. I watched John go into a semi-catatonic and semi-rigid, statuesque, what the fuck's going on stance of his near epilepsy. And set myself. I move in next to him, drawing my gun, lean over and silently say, what do you see?
Two stones?
No, not two stones. Each stone. Each of the dark volcanic stones around is a soul that has been sacrificed and bound to the harvest.
Oh yeah, I said tombstones. Aren't tombstones just places?
No. Those are two separate things. Soulstone would be descriptive. Tombstone is what you find in a cemetery. Two separate things.
Okay, so soul stones. And they're all screaming.
I, at this juncture, would like to roll occult. I don't know whether Cone would have hooked me into this little area of information, but if John says there are souls in the stones, I would like to at least take a stab at it.
Fire away. And what is everyone else doing?
Gigi, against her better judgment, has taken the cold brew, and she is attempting to bless it.
And Nikki is watching Gigi attempt this with great curiosity because it's going to be something to see a kindred bless freaking alcohol.
Coffee, in fact, actually. But yes, it is a...
Coffee, in fact.
Oh, you should say cold brew. I was thinking beer.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Oh my god.
Would you be so kind as to roll your resolve plus composure? Marcus.
You're talking to Marcus, aren't you?
Yes, please. And while that is happening,
So
there was always a fear during the late 1800s, late 1700s, even up to and including the 19th and 20th century. It was never really espoused as much, but there was the fear that insanity was contagious. Not only was it an eyesore and problematic, but that it was contagious, that madness could spread, it could infect the populace. And so mad persons were locked away out of sight, out of mind, as far from the right and upstanding members of society as possible. It's a foolish idea. It always had been, always was. But as Marcus began speaking with John, I kind of lends credence to the idea that you can catch crazy, because his eyes go bug-eyed, his fangs slide into space, and the same vitae-tinged sweat breaks out across his being. His shoulders hunch some because he knows that at any second, something or someone from long ago will reach through time and strangle the life out of him. The stones that John is hinting at, as far as you are aware, as far as you could put your fingers on, only come from one place, only exist in that state between states. Those stones come from Enoch, the first city. The first city had magic unparalleled to anything ever in existence. And its magic is what lies at the center of oblivion. Its magic, transmuting souls into items, is the only thing possible for such a thing. Stones filled with souls? No, that's impossible. You all have somehow found your way into the shroud and through it, into the world of the dead, into the land of all things that never could, will exist again. You all are in the scientific basis for all of the fantasies about hell, or Hades, or any other name for the underworld.
So Marcus's brain explodes a little. Is what I'm getting from that in a general sense? Also, an incredible want to steal some of these stones.
There's no small feat to keep that insanity from rocketing out of you. There's no small effort on Marcus's part to keep from acting on those impulses. And the very real fact that you realize that twice, at least twice, now, you all have technically died, either actually or by entering into the land of the dead. So as you watch Gigi, Nikki, as you watch two other members of your coterie go absolutely back and beyond insane, and Leonetti, what is it that you all are doing?
You said that Gigi was freaking out. Hello?
No, Gigi's actually pretty calm. She would be focused on what she's trying to do, hoping like hell that it works. It's mostly Marcus and John that are flipping out. So noticing those two are flipping out.
She is. If anyone's flipping out, Nikki's gonna try to calm them.
Gigi.
Say what?
Gigi is kind of looking around. Now, is it like normal darkness down here or like a supernatural darkness?
Oh, everything's supernatural, but it is just dark.
So she wouldn't need to use like her sense to see the other of what's going on. There's no point in yelling at John right now because obviously he's not going to be aware enough to really give a crap. So she looks at Leonetti and Nikki. Well, we're down here now, so the only one or two things we can do is either keep going or run back the other way. Which would y'all prefer to do?
Let's this time back around because we've gone too far, I believe. Might as well see it to the end.
I mean, if this is it, this is it. It's been a hell of an adventure. And then she gets behind Marcus with her bottle of supposedly blessed cold brew and puts her hands against his back and shoves that he would keep walking.
Although after living over 100 years, I never thought I'd die in the church.
At this point, in his shared madness with John, because thanks, Marcus is just going to whisper, "We proceed as Heracles and Orpheus." And gets pushed forward.
It's not an easy thing moving forward into your depth. It's not an easy thing moving in between the spaces of things. But as the chanting grows a little louder and a little louder, and you draw closer and closer, and the stone pathway, the walls around you, grow farther and farther apart, you find that beneath your feet is suddenly dirt. And you can smell pine and corn and the scent of wood burning. And before your eyes, there in the darkness, just at the edge of your visual range, there are bushes popping up from the dirt beneath your feet. And there are plants and trees and the crackling sound of burning wood with the sounds of animals in the distance. The bright, starry, night-filled sky overhead. And the chanting. Always the chanting. And even from this distance, even from where you are obfuscated and occluded by the darkness, in the center, rising above the other trees that you can see, above the other bushes, the only clear thing is a tree stretching toward the sky. And why it is the tree, and why it is stretching toward the sky as if it is attempting to assault heaven, is because in its shape is the image of a clawed hand seeking to scar and mar the sky. Its branches completely empty of foliage. Its branches mostly empty of bark, seeming scabrous and leprous. The tree stands above all else. The tallest, oldest thing, in places bone white enough to have been believed dead for centuries. Yet it clearly is sufficiently youthful and strong enough, fed enough, that it persists even beyond death, just like each one of you. And as the coterie looks at that tree and listens to the chanting and realizes they are in a grove of sorts, it is 26 after the hour. We'll take a quick 10-minute here. See you guys back at 36 after.
Roger that. John?
Okay, you fine folks, felons and fellows and fellowships. How are we? Is everyone back?
We are back.
Okay, so everyone's back to GG, Leonetti.
Yep.
I think Lena's here.
Give us a thumbs up.
Back.
Okay. So with the grove opening up ahead of everyone, with the surroundings of the church mere steps behind you, it is only as you're standing in the night sky, as only as you're standing out in the grove, that you realize that the flickering lights, the flickering flame-like light that radiated off of the stonework around you, barely providing enough light to see 1 foot in front of the other ahead of you. You didn't pass any sconces. You didn't pass any torches. You didn't pass any sources of light. And the fact that the path you all traveled was a ramp descending. In fact, you are now on level ground with the barest bits of stonework behind you. The tunnel, the path leading up from where you are, even though there's nothing up, more trees and more darkness. The chanting around you, and the tree there in the distance rising above the others. What is it that you all would like to do?
How affected am I about John's passive insanity?
Truly affected? You're not. It is literally knowing too much. You have the fundamental understanding that where you are doesn't exist. As a being of science and technology, even with the foundations of magic that have been granted to him through his adoption by Cone, even through the formulaic few bits of teaching that he received at the hand of Anand, there was still science behind it. There was still this formula, these steps to get this result. 1 + 1 = 2. The impossibilities were never a true factor. Yet, being a man of science, your current state of being, your current place in the wide cosmos is an impossibility. Not an improbability, but an impossibility. You can't, as a kindred, die and still be ambulatory. Your second death is death. Yet here you are, as far as you can tell, in the land of the dead. You can't cross the veil physically, the shroud, into the other worlds. Yet, as far as you can tell, that's exactly what you all did. Enoch is a place of myth. It doesn't exist. As far as you can tell, from everything that you've read, it only exists in the land of the dead. It only exists once you cease to have any connection with this world. Yet, clearly, the soul stones and the very trappings of everything around you said that you all crossed over.
So my statement of Heracles and Orpheus stand.
So I take it I'm out of the
Rostrick, yes, you managed to keep
Yes.
it clean. You managed to stave down the insanity of your beast. You managed to fight off and brave through the darkest night of your soul.
You're also in charge now.
wait, what?
Don't what me, motherfucker. We step out of Marcus's ability to comprehend and into Greek mythology. You're in charge. This was your plan. Lead the way, motherfucker.
Wait, isn't he also an oracle? Which wouldn't he be considered an oracle? Which great men would go to ask for shit? So, yeah, lead the way, fucker.
That is Philip, not Lasky. Okay, anyways. Alrighty. Get into it.
Marcus is in the middle of an existential crisis between his living life and his current happenstance. Leonetti is currently in a follow the guy who seems to know what he's doing crisis. It's between you, Nikki, and Gigi to figure out what the hell's going on, because we don't do the Abyss, Hell, or any of these other abstracts.
Yeah, the closest thing that Leonetti has
Uh,
is willing to understand of hell is Battlefield. That is it. He refuses to think of anything more because then it just doesn't want to.
Lasky will look to Gigi. Do you have the water, the holy water thingy, the holy coffee?
She nods. Are you going to be okay to carry this, or should I hold on to it?
I think you should hold on to it for now. I'm not sure on where we're going to need it. Maybe on each of the stones.
There are. I'm not the only one seeing that giant ass and tree thing that's in front of us already.
Maybe that.
Then the question is, how do we get close without getting stopped by its worshippers?
Can anyone stealth?
Yes. Guessing.
Like invisible stealth?
Yes.
Marcus palms a spider.
I mean, I can only pull shadow close around me. I can't entirely disappear, but as long as there's enough shadow, I can kind of step into it.
I have.
I think maybe we need to try and get to the trees and avoid any sort of visual contact, or we're dead. Dead.
You know, Marcus, everybody look away.
Right, sounds like that's the plan then. Get over there, but get there quiet and unnoticed. It means no shenanigans from you. It looks towards John. And no shooting at anything. And she looks at Marcus.
And Leonetti. John looks at Leonetti when you said no shooting.
Okay.
So does Nikki.
He takes out his gun and just throws it over there and just like, if you don't want shooting, best not let me have any at all.
You did not just...
And while the four of them are arguing, Marcus just fades from existence.
All right. So
Activating unseen passage.
everyone, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your dexterity and stealth, or dexterity and stealth plus any obfuscate abilities. Your DC as high as you can.
I do not like you sometimes. I swear.
3, 6.
God, I'm gonna have to rouse again for this.
Jesus Christ, that dice pool.
Sweet mother of God.
Oh yay! I don't get over here.
Oh, I thought that was a rouse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a rouse.
So fucking scared. I was like, what?
What?
3 successes. Yay!
Okay, now I'm at 1 willpower. Because I used that temporary willpower.
5, 6, 7, 8.
We need that level 5 obfuscate power that just like gets a grid of unseen passage.
Do you want me to dedicate
No.
to that? I mean, that would just increase my dice pool by 3 for these kinds of things.
Wow.
I have a dice pool of 12. I don't know if I.
Yeah, you don't even. Oh my god.
What?
Marcus's.
Yeah, that's that's not good.
That
It is not
is
good.
some
It is
shitty
never, ever good.
luck.
And their die pool is. Oh wow. Yeah, that's not good. Let's see what fate has in store for you all. Fate has decided to play the game. It is on your side, curiously watching what may unfold. And as you all fade from resistance, keeping a loose formation simply by accident of fate, staying within earshot of one another, you all ease through the brushwork, ease through the forest, ease through the grove, closer to the central tree of the grove. You ease closer to the harvest god, strike against heaven and all things that side with it. Doing so unseen and unnoticed by the guard who is keeping watch over several body bags, 3 of which have huge stakes sticking through the bags themselves. There's about 9 to 10 black bags, some of them wriggling, others stone cold still. And as his back is turned and he's chanting under his breath, like most people would hum or whistle to themselves, it is unnerving because he's keeping perfect time with the chant that's happening further into the grove, closer to the tree. And he's looking in that direction, mindfully unaware of anything save his act of worship, even here on what amounts to scut duty, watching over body bags, some wriggling and others not.
And it's just one guy.
It is literally just one guard.
And she's gonna whisper as quietly as she can. I believe those are other kindred in the vibes. Should we free them?
I say yes. I whisper yes. I say yes.
She kind of leans in the direction she knows Yannetti was. Again, keeping the whisper. We're the quietest kill. You do it. Take him out.
Wait, what?
But
Kill?
if we kill him, we might have left to others. Of course. Of course.
What does that bring your hunger to?
3. Ha ha ha
Says the little unseen passage shadow remains silent, allowing those with the gift of gab to move forward.
Philip would be perfect.
So Nikki just holds him back. I do it. If this fails, then you kill him. I'm going to appeal to his better senses. And that was aroused because she's going to mesmerize the guy. And she's going to come out with her stunning self and walk up to him. I need you to be quiet and don't move.
Wait, do you need a rouse to mesmerize?
Yes.
Oh.
Do I need...
Yeah, never mind.
Okay, well, let me look this up, because he is human, right?
How would you know?
Just a fucking guess.
So you guess that he's human, so make it happen.
Or he's a demon, since we're in, like, hell.
I think I just... Yeah, I hear you. Okay, there we go. What the hell? Okay, there we go.
Are you looking for the system for mesmerize? Is your manipulation plus dominate?
Okay. And then I just... Oh god.
And Leonetti, while Gigi is has passed along her message, and while Nikki is drawing attention, what is it that Leonetti is doing?
He is.
Yeah, I'm not going to risk another round check. I would. 3 successes.
Oh, you got 3. I think that he's just... He's intentionally trying to not cause too much of a scene because he was told to by people who know more of what's going on than he is. So he's just keeping an eye on everyone.
I forgot. Will my looks go into play? Will her looks go into play with this?
What looks?
Cause she's stunning.
A non-member of the church appeared in the dark while he was praying. Yes, you have his attention. No, not favorably.
That's what she says. I need you to stay there and don't say a word.
He opens his mouth, his voice somehow not reaching his lips. He draws the machete on his hip. He frowns because there's something he wanted to say, but can't remember what. Something he wanted to.
She draws closer. It'll be alright, darling. Trust me, it'll be just fine.
Anyone else doing, saying, otherwise, taking an action. And remember, an action is an action.
The invisible Marcus is moving closer to the machete-wielding nightmare.
Lasky will follow Marcus quickly behind.
You can't follow Marcus because Marcus is invisible.
Right.
But
If he has aspects, he can see.
I never turn off Sense the Unseen, so therefore I probably do still see you.
Well, if you rolled high enough, you could see him.
I did roll higher than he. Remember, I rolled 3 successes.
yeah, so if he rolled 3 successes
That
as
was
opposed to the Fate's fucking goose egg,
That was 3 successes
Um.
previously. In this particular moment, after everyone began stealth, you would have to seek Marcus out.
Yeah, you'd have to roll again.
I would also just be going towards the evil-looking tree.
Okay, so you're letting them deal with the guard, and you're continuing past the body bags, the writhing and wriggling body bags, some of which actually have large pieces
Oh wait,
of
no,
wood.
I was going. I'll open the body bags. Right. I wanted, unless someone stops me, because it looks like there's people still alive, and me being me, or Lasky being Lasky, he'll want to help humanity 8 and all.
While the guard is distracted by Nikki and potentially whoever, I'm going to help John, and the first bag she reaches, a stake, she is going to pull the stake, unzip bag, and just kind of go along unstaking people while she has time.
All right. Well, that being the case, Nikki, as you draw closer, and his jaw opens and closes, and he frowns, hearing the zip and watching people appear around him, instead of yelling for help right away, he slashes out with the machete. It is clear from his height and musculature that he is accustomed to having to fell his own creatures. He is used to having to hunt for his own meal. He is accustomed to the splatter of blood and knows how to do so in such a way as to put the animal out of misery fairly quickly. Which means, yes, this is a just above the clavicle, just below the chin strike. What is it that you're doing?
Who?
You, the dark-haired vixen which popped out of nowhere, the foul temptress, child of Lilith, and mother of all demons, that has tried to sway him and took his voice.
But she said stand there and say nothing, but
He did, hence the reason why I asked what everybody else was doing while he was following the order. He did follow the order. He didn't do anything. Now the order is over. Everyone's taking an action. It's the next round, effectively. Well, the next action of this round, effectively.
Well, if she can dodge it, she will.
All right. Dexterity and athletics.
DC?
The 4 that was rolled.
Oh, Jesus. Not aroused for this. This is not going to get good. Being well for this guy. Or me. Oh, yay! No longer. Okay. Might have the willpower. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my God. It won't. This thing is. Why is this thing busted? I cannot willpower.
3. Oh. You don't have 3 die. You have.
Well, no, that's my hunger.
Yeah.
You should be able to willpower. You have 2 black dots. You should be able to willpower the black dots.
I can't. It won't let me. It's been like this.
There's a dot right there underneath, and they're on the left. Why don't you click that?
That's why I'm clicking. It'll roll up like it rolls and then it goes back to 1. Now it's on 3. Now it's on 2. Now it's on 1. 2, 1.
Oh, that. Oh, it's testing. Go ahead, roll IV2.
Ivy Leagues. Sorry.
1 success.
There is
Well, bye everybody.
the other foot, the other shoe dropping, the sword of Damocles in the form of a machete. That has Nikki choosing the most humane way possible, choosing the least tactically sound and strategic, while Linetti watches over as she closes to the car, distracting him until John and Gigi make their way to the bags, drawing his attention. And while he's not raising an alarm, because at the end, he's more than man enough to deal with 2 little women and some soft, silly thing. He lashes out with his machete, aimed like always to cut the beast's throat and allow it to bleed onto the forest floor. And as the machete slices cleanly through the dead flesh that was once Nikki's neck, luckily for Nikki, luckily for them all, he over calculated the distance between them, and so the blow did not sever Nikki's head from her shoulders, though it did come extraordinarily close to doing so. Would you please denote the 3 superficial points of damage?
Point where all this crappiness happened with Machete Boy, Marcus is going to step out of his shadow. He's going to step out of his obfuscate in close range to Chucklehead with the big fucking knife and shoot him in whatever presents itself, really. He's going to aim it, so it's composure and firearms.
Alright, so don't roll yet. You're aiming. That will be this round.
But yeah, he's just going to walk up, suddenly appear, and shoot him while he's distracted.
You're aiming, so that's your action for this round.
Yes.
Watching that happen as before your eyes, Leonetti, John, Gigi, as Nikki is nearly decapitated, what is it that you all are doing?
I'm gonna try and tackle the dude.
Leonetti is going to quickly just signal, what was his? John for his firearm back, because he was told not to use it before we knew that he.
Oh, you
that was
tossed
going
it
to
to
happen.
John? I thought you just tossed it to the floor.
No, I tossed it to John specifically
Oh, okay.
because
Well,
you know
John's already...
he's had a habit of yeah. Well, he's gonna try to quickly grab his firearm off of him.
Can I rouse the blood surge to raise my strength?
Yes, you may. And Gigi, what is it that you're doing?
3 hungies. And that would be strength plus brawl, right, to tackle the dude?
Yes.
seeing Nikki almost decapitated, but then watching these two idiots with the guns, she is going to loudly whisper,
Oh,
"Part of quiet, don't you get?" Motioning to the guns.
All right, so Gigi's stage
Oh, damn.
whispering.
hungry.
Leonetti's trying to tackle John to get his gun. John is trying to tackle the guard. Marcus is aiming. Nikki is dodging. We are now, as Nikki somehow managed to survive the blow that has felled bulls, lambs, the other kidnappees that they had, that one hairy fella that started to grow in size like he was pumping up on steroids like something out of a cartoon and is still standing, that catches his attention. The magic, her being a succubus and all that, did not. However, her withstanding a blow that has provided meals is something that stands out. And like all true believers, when they meet something that challenges their faith, and their belief in the way that the world and the afterlife works, he does the only thing that's left to him. He slashes in a arcing circle to kill the foul thing and keep it from tainting the rest of the world. Those within arm distance, i.e. attempting to tackle, those attempting to duck out of the way, and those who are standing arm extended to blow his brains away. Please, whatever your action is, that is your target number.
Oh my god. What's she gonna do? She's gonna try to return the favor and slash his throat.
Make it happen.
So that would be Dex and melee.
Yep.
Or okay.
Are you using your claws? Are you using your hand? Are you just going to rip and tear out his throat?
And she's gonna use a blade.
Okay.
She's gonna use one of her knives.
All right, take 2 away from your die pool. Make it happen.
I still got the same result.
I mean, I'm shooting out of obfuscation, sense or unseen passage with celerity, shooting this guy right after he slashed Nikki.
I would like to use another willpower to roll 3 dice.
Fire away, Nikki.
Jesus, 4 successes.
What are combined?
Yes, sir.
Fucking.
as Gigi Stage whispers, the noise, and Marcus fires. And difference of 2. This is too superficial. And John, what was your result? Alright,
1.
that's 4 superficial. And Nikki, that's 2 superficial. And Gigi, the machete flying out of the now headless corpse as it falls, splattering. Where is everyone's hunger?
Yeah, Nikki was gonna see if she can get some blood from his body before the cold's cold.
Do that
I'm
too.
at 3, but I'm also in torpor.
Did we all take damage out of that?
Yeah.
Just
That for me, the smart one.
And Leonetti.
wait. Where's the damage number? Is it based off his 5?
Yes.
Okay, so I had 3, so I took 2. Okay. And aggravated willpower damage again.
There is a pink mist that happens with ballistics meet the brain pan. It is a monstrously beautiful thing to witness. It is a spray that is as artistic as you could possibly imagine. And if you distance yourself from the realities that is a life ending, it is a moment of Pollock-esque beauty. The kindred gathered in this portion of the grove are, in fact, removed from that understanding or that empathy that most humans have. That half-step removal from that empathy allows them to appreciate the splatter that was formerly a living being. The cart-wheeling machete flying from the dead grip of the former human, landing not far from one of the body bags, as the body whomps against the ground at the same time that John's body lands. The gun that Leonetti was trying to obtain falling from his pocket. The reality of what just happened being marked by the sudden taking of flight of nightbirds as they go skyward, and the harvest god's Judas tree clawing against the night sky seems framed by several dozen dark wings taking flight, rising up above the tree. And the chanting, the humming, the verbal prayers going up near the tree die. There's a often touted element of surprise that is many people gamble their lives on. Many people lose gambling on the element of surprise because sometimes things, beings, people, places are far more aware than they seem to be. However, in this moment, in this instance, even though it is unknowable, even as it is impossible to prove 100% with all due fact and proof, you all know that you all had the element of surprise. You all knew they felt secure enough that only one guard was needed, even though the bag still held those who were alive. The competency of the guard was enough to vouchsafe that they felt safe and secure. They were unaware, whatever they were or are. They are now 100% aware. And like the wild hunt of the Fae, there is but one thing on their mind. There is but one outcome which will satiate them. And the ending of you all is what will do that. I'd like to thank you all for a lovely episode. And I'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
All right.
Night.
Good night, boss. Have fun.